Hi Libra, welcome to your month ahead Tarotscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. I would be eternally grateful for it. If you are already a continued subby, thank you so much for all of your support. Before we start, I would like to bless all of my decks with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look. So your Tarotscope for October 2018, actions and interactions with the world at large. The Hermit card. So it looks like you're taking yourself out of the spotlight this week, this month. This month you're actually seeking to do some recalibration, is the word that I'm actually hearing. So when I say recalibration, the Hermit card usually sees us going on a journey or a quest. Sometimes it can be an outward journey, but very often, especially with this being your actions and your interactions, this can talk about an inward journey. And we're going on that inward journey because we're seeking some sort of illumination of what's taking place inside of ourselves. So the way that we usually do this is by withdrawing or retreating from the world at large. And it kind of says that this month your actions are very much based around that. It's like you're taking yourself out of the spotlight, you're taking yourself out of public view, so you know, whether it were, and for some of you, you know, because obviously you'll still have to go to work, you'll still have to do, you know, whatever your obligations are. But this is very much on the other front, like on a social front or anything like that. It's okay, I'm going to take a bit more of a lower profile because now I want to start reassessing and reevaluating where I'm going and what is relevant for me in my life, what I need to do now. It's kind of like you're figuring out what your next step is. And when you get the Hermit card, it gives you this power to really focus in on the details. It gives you this power to really focus in on what you're actually feeling, but what it requires you to do is to withdraw yourself from the world, is to take, you know, steal away, take away take a moment away from the world at large, so that you can really tap into that inner voice, so that you can hear the inner self and really understand exactly where it is that you're going from here on in. You know, the Hermit card is ruled by the sign of Virgo as well, you know, which is your 12th house, which is interesting as well when you think about it, because this kind of suggests that in terms of the 12th house, you know, you're doing the thing behind the scenes, you're, you know, out of the public eye, you know, delving into yourself, into your own understanding, which is, you know, is a powerful experience. So your money and your materials this month, 4 of Cups. In terms of money, this looks like you, firstly I want to say maybe try to foster an attitude of gratitude in terms of your finances, because I kind of feel like it's almost like you've tried to do something and the idea hasn't quite come off, it hasn't quite happened as much as you would like, and it's kind of like you're now looking at this saying, oh well, fine, you know, obviously didn't work out, so I might as well chuck in the whole towel. And this kind of says to me, keep going. You haven't done enough just yet. It kind of says in terms of your finances or the financial rewards, I guess, haven't marked up to what you expected. That's fine, but you haven't quite finished yet. I almost feel to say to you, you haven't quite finished building what it is that you're building. You haven't quite finished, you haven't put the finishing touches on it. And the reason you know you haven't got back from it what it is that you feel like you've put in is because it's not ready yet. You know, when you see the 4 of Cups, it's about observing what you have now. And it also talks about a happy surprise. Now, you know, I don't necessarily think that this comes from a windfall. What I think is, if you invest more time and more emotional energy in what it is that you're trying to get off the ground, the rewards will come. But at the moment you need to be content with the emotional reward. And the emotional reward from what it is that you're doing at the moment, you know, if you've just started your own business and you're thinking, oh crap, you know, I'm not making as much money as I was expected to make, or, you know, I've just got this new job and, you know, I've just been promoted and I'm not quite getting, you know, all the recognition and stuff, or the, you know, the financial rewards from it that I expected to. Be emotionally content with what it is that you have achieved for now, and that will give you the strength that you need to push on to put the finishing touches and the final pieces in place in order for you to have the experience or the peak experience or understanding that you're actually seeking. And that's what's going to be important for you going forward. When you look at these two cards together, you know, you're taking this time to reassess, to withdraw from, you know, from the limelight, to reassess, reevaluate, really delve deep into yourself and figure out, you know, what is the next step then? What are the finishing touches that I need to put on this? What is the, you know, if you're at interview stage for a job, you know, and they're saying, like, you know, where usually they only give 2 interviews, maybe you're going, you know, you've been called back for a 3rd interview and you're like exasperated by this point, like, are you going to give me the job or not? And, you know, what more do you want from me? Well, this is the time, you know, this month, take that time. You know, before you go back into the 3rd interview, before you go, you know, trying to do a relaunch or anything like that, think about what it is that you can put in now. You know, by doing that thought process and that planning, you know, when the opportunity comes for the relaunch, for the promotion, for the acquisition of the job or anything like that, when it comes, it will be complete. You will have actually put in all that you need to put in order to make this thing work. So your communications this month, you get the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is a great communicator. The King of Wands is fun, vibrant, feisty, hardworking, says what he means, mean what he says. The thing is with this energy though, is sometimes this person can be a bit childish. Sometimes this person can be a bit of a big kid. Is this what you're demonstrating? That because you haven't quite got what you wanted, you're giving out this sort of like air of like a little bit of a petulant child, you know, like, well, I didn't get this or that, so I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do that. You know, there's that aspect of it. And the other part of it is, it looks like somebody on an outside perspective, or somebody on the outside of your situation, does want to help you, but they need to see more commitment from you. The thing about the Wands cards is they're all in. You know, fire is all consuming, all burning, and you know, it will burn everything to the ground if you allow it to. And it kind of says that your communications this month, it's basically like there's the way that I feel it is there's somebody outside of you, whether it's a work friend, whether it's a colleague, it might be a boss. You know, this could be somebody in some position of authority. It's almost like they're looking at you and they're like, I just need that little bit more from you. I just need that little bit more commitment, or that demonstration that you actually understand the opportunity that you're being handed here. And once I see that from you, I'm going to communicate to you that you're in the right space to achieve what it is that you want. And I kind of feel like the reason you've got the Hermit card there then in your actions and your interactions is you're asking yourself, what is the missing ingredient? What is the thing that I'm perceived to not be putting in? What is it that I've missed? What is it that I'm not quite giving? Now, as a person, the King of Wands is a fire sign male. It would be an Aries, a Sagittarius, or a Leo. Somebody that embodies those traits. As your communications, like I said, I feel like this is somebody outside of you, but in terms of your style of communication, I have to be really honest. Don't be too forceful. It's kind of, and it's interesting because I've been saying to you, you know, claim your power, own yourself, Libra, get out there, say what you think, you know, all the rest of it. And now I'm saying to you like, oh, well, you know, maybe what I'm saying is don't force it. Be brave, be bold, speak up, you know, speak your truth, absolutely, but don't force it. The thing about the King of Wands is, although he's got the power to, you know, to when he goes, he doesn't do that all the time. He's not always in that feeling of force. He does things usually in a fun and vibrant and creative way. But if need be, he will take it up a notch and start scolding. And this is what you need to find the balance between, you know, your Libra, find the balance between what is scolding and being forceful, as opposed to what's being direct and what's being assertive. You know, there's a fine balance between the two, and if anyone can find the balance of something, it's you guys. So then finally, your heart and your half, your emotional ties. So you got the 10 of Wands. This is interesting because in terms of your personal relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, you know, family, friends, all of that sort of stuff. In terms of your relationships, the 10 of Wands is basically saying that it's almost like you're ready to give in already. You're ready to give in the towel. You're ready to chuck in the towel with a lot of things at the moment. And I kind of feel like in your personal relationships, you're like, am I really doing this again? Am I really having to carry you and your shit again? Am I really having to put myself in the position for you to be okay or to feel secure or whatever again? You're asking yourself, how much more am I supposed to compromise? How much more am I supposed to give? And that feeling of exasperation in terms of this stuff, it may well be warranted, absolutely, but I kind of feel like it's off the back of all of the other stuff. Things not quite happening the way that you want or at the speed that you want, and for that reason it's almost like you're putting a lot of strain on your relationship. Maybe some of it needs to be there, maybe some of the questions that you're asking this month really do need to be asked, but you need to ask yourself, you know, in this moment of clarity and self-understanding and self-wisdom and analysation, is the reason I'm feeling like this in response to the outside events that I can't change, in the projects that I would like to move forward? And if so, am I putting extra strain on my relationship for those reasons? Now, that's not to say that what you have to say isn't warranted. It's not to say that what you feel isn't justified. It's just to say how much of the strain on your relationship is coming from you and how much of the strain on your relationship is coming from your partner. It's about figuring out whose shit is whose, basically, you know, to speak frankly and honestly and openly. For those of you that are single, I don't feel that the person that you're pursuing at the moment, for those of you that are pursuing someone, I almost don't feel like they're ready for you at this moment in time. That's not to say that they won't ever. I just don't feel that they're ready for you at this moment in time. I don't feel they're in the right space mentally, emotionally, you know, and certainly with the things that they've got going on in their life, I don't think they'd be able to give you the kind of time that you deserve anyway. And that's something that you might need to consider going forward. You know, sometimes the reason it doesn't work out between us and somebody else is because they were never able to provide what it is that we need. I'll give you an example from, you know, from my personal memory store, like I've got so much worldly wisdom. Well, I do, I've got a fair amount. I definitely feel like I've lived at least 2 or 3 lifetimes in this body alone, you know, in this carnation. But as an example, about 3 years ago I dated somebody, and I kept thinking to myself, what is it about me? Why don't you like me that way? And we'd come together and then we'd separate, and we'd come together and then we'd separate and then we'd come together. And in the end, I just kind of went off on one and was like, look, do you know what the fuck is the problem? Like, why don't you like me? Or, you know, maybe I like you more than you like me. And in hindsight, with what I know about that person now and how they are, I know it could never have worked. They were never able to give me what I need from a partner, what I need in a relationship. And so sometimes it's good that it doesn't work out with somebody, because we actually come to the understanding that, you know what, not through any fault of your own or saying that there's anything wrong with that person, but you were never going to be able to, you were never going to be enough for me. You were never going to be able to give me what I need from a partner or in a relationship. And therefore, I probably wouldn't have been able to give you what you want and need from a partner. And that's very often the reason that it doesn't work out for us. You know, so consider that. If you are single and you're chasing someone and you think, you know, what is it? Why is this not working? Maybe the missing ingredient is the fact that you're missing, that there is nothing missing. It's just not meant to happen. So, first week of October, you get the High Priestess. By doing this deep soul searching and trusting your intuition and going deep within, some things are about to become illuminated. I almost feel like some sort of, you know, your intuition will be speaking, but I kind of feel like you, in hindsight, by observing your personal situation, you come across something intuitively and you think, wow, okay, that's why this isn't working, or that's why I'm not able to, or they're not able to. It's kind of like the first week of October, you have kind of this massive epiphany, but it comes from within. It's kind of like if you do discover a secret in the first week of October, it won't be because somebody told you, it will be because it came from within you. Second week of October, the Death card. This is about letting something go. It's about releasing something. Whether for some of you this will be a person, you know, and it's because you're deciding not to travel the same road. For some of you, this is about, you know what, maybe I should relinquish my hold on how this is supposed to go. You know, whether this is the project, the promotion, the job that you're applying for, or in the interviewing stages for. You know, when the Death card comes, it shows us that by letting something go, we truly take control of the situation, that things must end, things must come to a close. You got a really deep, you know, first 2 weeks of the month, and it's kind of saying, especially with your money and your materials, it's kind of like if you relinquish your grip, you'll probably arrive at the destination you wanted to be at anyway, but it will require you to loosen the reins. Third week of October, you get the Chariot card. This is when the success and the victory comes in. And the reason being is because you're able to transmute, to transcend something, to say, okay, I can't control that, I'm not in control of that, you know what, I know what I want, and I'll just keep heading towards that. But in terms of making it happen, it might not be my bag, it might not be up to me. Your communications this month, eventually you will be seen for the person that you want to be seen, and you will have people notice you. For those of you that are in interview or, you know, whatever process, this is the week where you find out that yes, you got the position, yes, you got the job, yes, you know, you got the financing or the funding. I kind of feel like you're waiting for some stuff and you're putting it on yourself. It's like, oh, you know, why am I having to wait for this? Well, that's the world. We don't always get everything in our laps, unfortunately, and sometimes by waiting, it gives you time to reassess, reevaluate, so that when you get to where you want to be, you treat it right. You know, whether it's a person, a situation, experience, a business, da 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 da. Fourth week of October, you get the Hierophant card. This is another one that's been really active this month. The Hierophant card basically sees you making things official, and I gotta say, it looks like for some of you there is divorce on the horizon, you know, and I kind of see like this is literally the filing of papers, and yeah, because it looks to me like some of you in the fourth week of October, you're really deciding that you need to move on, and the reason you're deciding to move on is because you don't want the same experience that you're having now that you've already had several times. I kind of feel like a lot of you are reaching the end of your tether with a certain cyclic situation, and it's like, you know what, I'm not gonna keep buying into all of this crap. I'm actually choosing to transcend it. I'm getting off the merry-go-round. Your key to the month, the Hierophant card. Sometimes in order to move forward with one thing, we have to let something else go, and you know, with the Hierophant card there, it looks like for a lot of you the work thing goes really, really well, but the personal life, it looks like there's going to be some big shape-ups there this month, some big what's the word, some big upheavals, let's say. Libra, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. Have an amazing month, and I will see you very soon for more videos. Take care.